Well, hi there, everybody. Good Tuesday morning to meteorologist Travis Klineski here. 7 o'clock in the morning on this Tuesday, a cold front entering the picture in the western parts of the local 4 viewing area. It'll slowly move eastward throughout the day today. A few clouds early should give way to a little more sunshine later on, but I do want to take you back to that mid to late afternoon time frame, say 3 o'clock this afternoon and more so towards 4 or 5 o'clock. Notice showers and thunderstorms firing near and ahead of that frontal boundary. And we have the threat of some severe thunderstorms later on today, but it's really about the importance of the placement of where that frontal boundary will be. Now, it's looking pretty likely that it should be through the Tri-Cities by 5 o'clock. So the chances of storms in the Tri-Cities, very slim. More than likely, won't see anything. Kearney, I'm not including it in the forecast. Grand Island, Hastings, I'm going to go with a 20% chance of storms, say 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. And that's because, as we go into the evening hours, most of the main storms are going to be near and ahead of that frontal boundary, but there may be a stray weak shower or a weak thunderstorm just behind that front that may pass through the Tri-Cities, say again during the 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock time frame there. So can't completely rule out a isolated precipitation, but it is a small chance. This chance out east, it's going to continue later into the evening hours, but the threat for severe weather will drop off later in the night, and that cold front will eventually take out the chances of precipitation later in the night. And going back real quick here, you're north and west of the Tri-Cities, you're going to see a quiet evening, quiet night ahead of us here with cooler temperatures settling in. And as we get to tomorrow morning, maybe a couple of clouds up in northern Nebraska. We should see a mostly sunny day for most spots, though, and pretty nice day overall. Cooler temperatures ahead of us for the most part on Wednesday into Wednesday night. So, severe weather. Right now, I'm going to tell you, looking at the severe weather threat from the Storm Prediction Center, well, there's an update that comes out. I'm recording this just after 7 o'clock. As you can see, it's 7:07 there. About 8 o'clock is when the next update will come out. I think this will change a little bit. I think everything is too far west. I'm going to kind of draw in some lines to tell you where I think the main threats are. So, first off, this slight risk, I think it needs to be trimmed back to about right here. Highway 81 eastward. That's where the main slight risk should be. And then the marginal threat should be where the rest of the slight risk is, basically right here. I think this whole area should be basically canceled out. I don't think there should be anything here. The chances of severe weather are extremely low in that marginal threat area, and I really think the marginal threat area should be between the Tri-Cities and Highway 81, with a slight risk for the rest of the state, other than right here where there is an enhanced risk from Omaha eastward. There is actually a bigger threat of some severe weather there, including the threat of some tornadoes, maybe even a strong tornado or two. Now, this is more likely in Iowa than it is in around Omaha area, but even isolated tornadoes cannot be completely ruled out around the Tri-Cities area. But I think the biggest threat for most of us here in Nebraska is going to be large hail. And again, this is mainly east of the Tri-Cities area, but also maybe a damage and wind gust threat. But hail looks to be the primary threat later on today and this evening. Well, we focused on the severe weather. Let's look ahead to the temperatures for today, which are going to soar into the mid and upper 80s, possibly to 90. That's well above average. Our average high is in the mid 70s this time of the year. It's 74 in Hastings and Kearney, and the average high is 75 in Grand Island. Now, there is going to be a little cooler weather to the northwest, lagging behind that cold front a bit. We'll start to feel that tonight and into tomorrow. Lows tonight down into the 50s, so cooler than what we have out there this morning. And then highs tomorrow, a lot of 70s in store. Mid and upper 70s, pretty common. Perhaps a couple of lower 80s across the south and southeast. And a little cooler up north, could be in the low 70s up there. As we look ahead to tomorrow night, even cooler, 40s and 50s ahead of us. This is a little closer to our average low this time of the year, even though it's a bit of a chill in the air. This is what you're supposed to get in late September. And then another really nice day Thursday, maybe a little breezier, but highs once again mostly in the 70s, some warmer 80s out west. How about the rest of that forecast, looking at the long range? Well, after Thursday, it does get a little more complicated. Now, in my forecast, I did not include a chance of rain Thursday night or Friday. The Weather Service did. Small chance. I just don't see much of a chance. Not going to rule it out, but as of right now, I decided just to keep it out of the forecast for Friday. A little breezy, nice, pleasant temperatures, again, near average temperatures on Friday. Things get more complicated heading into Saturday. The chances of rain and isolated thunderstorms will increase a little bit, but the timing is very difficult. Many models are looking at some low clouds and kind of some drizzly, rainy conditions, not much of a thunderstorm threat, and that would hold our temperatures down in the 50s and lower 60s. Some models have us getting some sunshine, heating things up, and actually getting a thunderstorm threat, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. And that would actually help to warm things up into the 70s to possibly even some 80s. Now, there may just be a wide range in temperatures across the state, and that's kind of the problem the next couple of days as we get towards the weekend and early next week. Frontal boundaries kind of moving back and forth could really affect day-to-day temperatures. So Saturday right now, that's 69 degrees. Take it with a grain of salt. That's going to change. It's more than likely going to change in the forecast here. And that, of course, would affect things in Lincoln on Saturday. You know, it could be cool college game day. It could be a cool, wet start to the day out there. It may not be so bad. And then the game, of course, kicking off in the evening hours. There could be some thunderstorms in the forecast, or there may not. Tough to figure out right now. Now, every forecast model I've seen is very consistent in heating things up on Sunday. So I am going temperatures well into the 80s. Some models have us getting into the 90s on Sunday. Strong southerly winds helping to get those temperatures up there. So it's likely going to be dry for most of the day Sunday. Maybe early before sunrise, a slight chance of rain and thunderstorms, and then a little bit better chance towards Sunday evening. Sunday evening as a cold front approaches, but some of the latest forecast models are trending back upwards. The last 24 hours, they started trending cooler. Now, yesterday, I was still thinking 80s Monday, but then they started trending cooler with 70s and 60s. Well, some of the last forecast models that just came out are now starting to trend back up with 80s, so I'm going to stick with 80s one more day on Monday. It's beyond Monday where things get even more chaotic, if you can believe it, because it gets even more difficult to forecast, but almost every forecast model I'm seeing is looking at some unsettled weather for the beginning of October. And along with that, a bigger drop in temperatures. We may see some of the coolest readings this season so far. Some models are even hinting at 50s and maybe 40s for highs towards the middle and end of the week. It could be also rather wet as well. This is where I'm going to get into a little bit of a rant. I seem like I do this a couple of times a year. I just don't usually do it this early. All right. So forecast models long range towards the middle of next week, around Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, maybe Thursday, are hinting at a lot of precipitation first off, but some snow entering the picture. Now, as of right now, the chances look much better out in the Rockies and in the high plains, maybe western Nebraska. I saw one model that thinks it's going to snow. Most do not. It looks like more or less a chilly rain could be on the way. So I'm not going to think snow at this point here. I just think the chances are way too slim, especially when you're talking about early October. The reason I mention this, and I don't like mentioning it, is because I've had a couple of people ask me over the last 24 hours about a Facebook page out there. It's a Facebook page called Meteorologists. That's it. No name behind it, no brand, anything, just meteorologists. And they have posted this one forecast model that's showing snow and saying a big snowstorm or a snow is coming for October 1st and 2nd, maybe the 3rd. Again, one model. It's the only one I've seen. Most are not showing it, are showing more of a chilly rain, and in fact, maybe even some thunderstorms, maybe some severe weather. But it does look unsettled. It does look like a good chance of precipitation could be coming. But I just don't think at this point it's going to get cold enough that we would be talking about snow. Again, my forecast here, going with around 60 degrees. That's way too warm for snow. So a chilly rain more than anything. It does look like beyond this forecast, beyond the 3rd, we get towards the 4th, the 5th, that's really the 4th, I would say. That's Friday, next Friday, the 4th. Maybe talking our first frost or freeze headlines, but that's as the precipitation's clearing out, skies will clear up, and it's going to get rather chilly. Most forecast models are hinting at some 30s coming in for overnight lows once the precipitation clears out, so that's why I'm not worried about snow. It'll be too warm, I think, for snow. But beyond that, it might get cool enough that we could at least be talking about the potential first frost of the season. It's a long ways out yet, so got a long ways to go before we even get there. Like I said, I can't even figure out Saturday and Sunday of this week, let alone a week from then. So again, take all of this with a grain of salt in the long range, but we are in the season of wide-ranging temperatures from day to day. All right. Well, I'm going to let you all go, so thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you all on your Wednesday. God bless. We'll see you all tomorrow.